Hello, and welcome to AskLRR. I'm Paul, and I am here with...
Me, I'm James.
And...
I'm Heather.
And today, we are going to be answering your questions. These questions came from our wonderful YouTube members. If you want to ask questions for us in the future, you can join our YouTube channel as a member. And of course, everything we do here at Loading Ready Run is brought to you by our Patreons, patreon.com/loadingreadyrun. So yeah, let's get into December questions.
It's Paul, just direct, straight to the thing.
No time to waste.
All right.
Yeah.
What do we got, Paul?
With Desert Bus now over, what's something you've learned from the experience this year?
Who asked this question?
This is from Pinball Witch 5256.
That's so many pinball witches.
I mean, we've been doing Desert Bus for a while, for a lot of years.
Yep.
Okay.
Do we still have things to learn?
Yes, absolutely. I learned this year that while I think there are definitely times and places for me being on remote desert buses, I much prefer the in-person version. And that's me coming off of... It's interesting, actually, because we have two people here. We have three interesting stories of desert bus this year, right? Because we have one person who spent 2 years on remote and came back in person this year. That's me. We have the next person, Paul, who's now been 3 years running
On
remote.
Yeah.
And then we have Heather, who did 2 years of remote and then took a year off. I feel like we could talk about just that for an entire length of a podcast. But yeah, for me, definitely, I just learned that, yeah, I much prefer to be in person, for sure.
I mean, the coffee pong alone.
Yes.
Is way easier in
we
person.
We did make coffee pong in person work in 2021, but it was a little bit of a headache. But
What with the flooding?
yeah, I forgot about the flooding. Yep. I was just thinking about the fact that it was remote, but yes, you're right. The flooding was also a little bit of an issue. So yeah, that's the big one for me, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, this was the first year that I was on the Zeta shift.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a whole learning process.
Yeah. You enjoy that time shift?
I mean, the time shift was not great, you know. It took a while to get used to. It's just not my usual mode of operation. And so I just found myself, I just would get bored. Like, I was just like, I don't know what to do. It's like 3 a.m. And the week leading up to Desert Bus.
Yeah.
I was trying to get my...
Yeah.
Trying to fix my or get into the right sleep rhythm, and because I found that one of the big things is that it's just because of what I'm used to acting. I work during the day, and then have dinner or whatever, and then maybe do a little bit of work after dinner or like watch some TV, and then around like 10 o'clock or so I start relaxing, winding down. Maybe do some stuff on the iPad or whatever, and go to bed. And then when I'm staying up, though, I sort of am like winding down and then just sort of wound down. And I give it like, I guess I could be like I've got 6 more hours to like do work, but it's just, I'm so unused to doing work at that time of day or night that it just didn't work. That was the biggest thing for Desert Bus this year, like more so than any other year. I literally did nothing other than like just the way the timing worked out. Like it was just like I got up, I would wake up at like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, see the sun for like an hour, and then I'd have like a couple hours. I would like have breakfast or lunch or whatever that meal, have a meal.
Yeah.
And then, there was like, again, there's that time between then and, midnight where I was on shift that theoretically I could have been doing a bunch of work, but it just didn't, I just found myself not really able to sort of like concentrate on anything. And then, midnight, and then I went into it. So it was, it was definitely an odd circumstance, but I thought it was kind of fun though. It was different. It was a different vibe than Dawn Guard, and it was kind of fun. And because it was so sort of the timing was very out of my normal setup. When I did like after Desert Bus, basically like the closing day of Desert Bus, because I wanted to be around for the finale. I like only slept like 2 hours or something. And so I was super tired. And so that night I just like conked out at like, 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
And then just slept, and then I just basically reset that night. Because my body is so used to sleeping at that time.
Yeah, exactly.
So it wasn't so bad. But it was interesting and different.
Heather?
Taking time off during November is so beautiful, especially during Desert Bus, because we're not producing any content.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like technically we are. We're not doing it under the
we're not
Loading Ready
actively.
Run.
Yeah.
So it's like I don't have to get after people for things because we already have them.
It's like it's a staycation.
So did you use the time to catch up, or did you use the time to just do nothing?
I definitely left some stuff to the last minute and put it up whenever I felt like it. But I mostly just didn't do anything.
Yeah.
I watched a lot of Disney movies.
Nice.
I mean, when you say catch up, there's catching up on work, and then there's catching up on important things.
Yeah, like Disney movies.
Like Disney movies and video games. That's important.
I got to play Pokemon the day it came out. Which is because Desert Bus is always like there's two or three games that everyone wants to play.
Yeah.
November, man. It's a heck of a month.
If anybody, by the way, I talked about this during Desert Bus, but if anybody has to change their sleep schedule and stay up until 5 a.m. for some reason, I highly recommend video game Dyson Sphere Program. Just because it's one of those games where you can just kind of like get deep into the minutia of like it's like Factorio or one of those kind of games where you just sort of get into the minutia of like how am I going to make these conveyor belts go, and then like 3 hours later if you're deliberately trying to stay up late, it works well.
I'll tell you something, Paul. As a longtime Zeta person, and that first remote year, almost everybody on Zeta was in the Pacific time zone. Before Desert Bus usually starts, because it's always been like the morning of, and so you stay up late the day before. Most of us just hang out in the Discord and chat all night because we got to stay up anyway.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
We gotta make friends with your co-hosts before the stream starts.
Apparently so. Yeah.
Right.
Maybe Corey and Beige were like hanging out. And they were just like, let's just not tell Paul about it.
You got to get through your first year, and then you get invited inside.
Oh, I
the
see.
Secret,
Right.
secret
You
chat
got to
room.
know that you're gonna stay.
Yeah, exactly.
We can't have another Cameron.
Wow. All right. Next question. For Paul, what has it been like to be the owner of a company like LRR? What are your biggest challenges, personal accomplishments?
It's from Nicholas?
Yeah, from Nicholas Falesco 8539. I mean, I don't know what it's like to own a company that isn't like LRR.
I was going to be like, there's no comparison.
I've only run.
How many other companies do you own, Paul?
Yeah.
Fess up.
As far as I know, this is the only company I own. Assuming that, my name isn't on the articles of incorporation for some company in the Cayman Islands that I don't know about. It's a weird, like I never really actually set out to run a company.
Yeah.
That's just, Graham and I were doing the sketch comedy stuff and producing more and more things. And eventually it came to the point, actually, when we started doing Unskippable for the Escapist, there needed to be some entity for the Escapist to sign a contract with. They couldn't sign rather than Graham and I individually, there had to be like something for them to sign a contract with.
What you're saying is you were forced to start a company.
I mean, essentially.
It wasn't a company when you started, though, right? Because it was just a...
Well, it was a partnership.
Yeah.
Which is still a company.
Yeah.
Like, it's a registered company.
Sure. Yeah.
It's just not incorporated legally.
Yeah.
So
which we are now.
From a liability point of view, yeah. And then when we did the Kickstarter, that's when we actually fully incorporated it as a separate company, which has, I mean, obviously the biggest thing that is not fun about running a company is
everything about running a company.
Well, there's all the paperwork and taxes and
everything about running a company,
lawyers and all that kind of stuff. Although, a lot of it, there's all sorts of silly things, but we have a variety of professionals doing that stuff for us, and then of course in more recent times we brought on Beige to help us with that, to do a lot of that work for us.
We have a variety of professionals and Beige.
Well, we have Beige on our side, and then a bunch of professionals on the other side.
Yeah. So when we play company football, we have Beige.
Yeah.
It is been a learning process, and it's one that is it's a difficult, like, it's something that we've had, obviously we have things have changed over the years, and we more bringing people on full time and doing all sorts of things like that, and it's a tough we do all the reporting on especially on like video game news, and of course we are very we know a lot of people in both the content creation and the video game industry and stuff, and these are industries where there's a lot of say sort of exploitation of people who are sort of young and excited to be in that field, and that's something that we've always tried to avoid as much as as much that it's like and it's been weird sometimes, like people be like on streams and stuff, and then they'll be like, oh, that was so great, and then we're like, yeah, could you put your timesheet in? They're like, what, I'm actually getting paid as well? Like, yes. That's how this works.
I remember being like new at things though, and just not thinking about getting paid.
Yeah. It's like, that's important. Otherwise, that's what makes this whole thing work. You spent time, and
you gave us your time.
We made money off of it.
We took your life force
all that stuff. So and just the whole infrastructure process obviously has been, and it's been neat. As we've gone through. We're at Moonbase Mark V, and Moonbase 1 was, one room. I think it was like 100.
It was about the size of the room that we're in right now.
Yeah.
Yep.
It was like 200 square feet, but there was like a chunk taken out of it.
You
so
only did like one thing though, right? Like
we did. Well, no, we did.
We did quite a few things.
Yeah.
Desert Bus 2 was in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, like, as a regular scheduled thing, you did what? Like,
we did the sketches.
And, like, maybe like a podcast or something?
We were doing podcasts
and
by then,
Unskippable.
I think, and Unskippable. And we'd gotten that space, or you and Graham specifically had gotten that space, so that this was back when we would take on independent work, right?
Right.
And
also we needed a place to store our costumes.
Yeah, that wasn't
just Bill and Morgan's place.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So yeah, and so but it's interesting, like, as our space has increased, from Moonbase 1, 2, 3, our ambition also increases, right? You have when we moved into this studio, it's like, oh, now we have 2 different studios, and like we can have different sets in Studio C, and we have, and so you sort of start. You start imagining what you can do with the new space. So that's kind of been a way that the company has expanded, sort of gradually, which is kind of and sort of the somewhat, I guess, slow and steady thing
it's
that we've been
20
doing.
years.
Yeah.
Like, it's not a thing that happened overnight. I would be very scared if we expanded that fast overnight.
And that's something that wasn't necessarily a deliberate decision on our part, but turns out that I'm actually very happy about it. That we've always been relatively conservative about our thing, and keep and expand it at a relatively slow rate. And that has allowed us to, cultivate an audience that is very, obviously very receptive to what we do. And I think that's really important. Sometimes people can get a huge, viral hit and then get 1 million people showing up who don't sort of get the vibe of the thing. And it kind of has issues with that.
Yep.
But not to say I wouldn't like to have more people, but
3 times. That's what I want.
You want 3 times as many people as we have now?
I just want 3 times everything.
If everybody
just tell 2 friends.
Yeah.
3 times people. Okay.
3 times people. 3 times everything. Well, except for number of people who work here. Please no. That's
I was gonna say
too many people.
3 Jameses?
No.
Well, I mean, a couple more people like James wouldn't be terrible.
It's true.
He's very handy around here.
All right.
I don't know if that answered that question that the person asked, but there it is. For Heather, for several years, you were the main person to film Loading Time. How did you get into that role, and how has it informed your other work for LRR? And that's from Ja2187.
Why does everybody have 4 digits after their name?
So YouTube, did this
thing,
thing where it gave everybody nicknames, and so instead of like the actual name that you submit for it, they added an @ symbol, which I took out of everybody's names because that was weird.
Oh, okay.
So like I know Pinball Witch that we saw earlier has put questions in the past, and there were never numbers there, but I feel like.
Because I was like, what are the chances that all these people had 4 digits? But yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Oh no, there's
YouTube
several reasons to hate YouTube. But that's not what this question's about. So Loading Time is behind the scenes series that we used to do a lot more often. Pandemic really hit that one hard. So Moonbase Mark III, it would have been the time era I joined in around, about the end of season 10 sketches. And at the time, Alex was doing a lot of the Loading Time filming. I think he might have been doing the editing as well, but I can't really remember.
Had he would have inherited it from Tim.
Yeah.
Right?
That's what I've heard. I've never met Tim in person.
Yeah.
It might have gone through someone else before it got to Tim, or before it got to Alex from Tim.
I think Tim started
remember.
it.
Tim definitely
started it.
Tim was a
But,
huge factor on why you all got Loading Time for sure.
Yeah, but Alex was the one who was doing the filming. And then I was just kind of hanging out sometimes in the background of a crap shot here or there, doing like whatever, holding a boom. The things that everyone kind of ends up doing when they just hang out because they're hanging out with friends.
Yep.
And
like, you have arms, hold this.
right? And Alex was in a lot of scenes for a thing. So he couldn't film and be in the thing he was filming. So I just started picking up the camera to take it from him to do, like you do with everything else. But then he was in more stuff. We had filming days where he was in like everything because it was Friday nights or something. So I just started doing that, and then I was just doing it.
All right.
But what transferable skill for later things, I learned that I could tell people what to do. Like I got to a point where I got told people shouldn't start their sentences with "so" if we could help it. So I just started yelling at all of you.
Yep.
To restart.
So that's how it started.
I specifically remember one day where I was talking to Kathleen, and I think she had just told me that, and then she went to do an interview portion.
And then did
and
that.
Did the thing that she said you should do, because it's very easy to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I just started shouting things like, "Come on, Kathleen, you're better than this." And I didn't know her that well.
That's awesome.
Do you think that starting with, loading time as like one of the first sort of major things that you were doing with Loading Ready Run informed your sort of perspective in some ways?
A little bit. I mean, I've always had a very make a list, find all the puzzle pieces and put them together kind of perspective, which works with loading time, especially if you're the only person doing any of the filming, because then you have to be aware of the fact that you need an opener for the person who's going to edit it, and then you need the B-roll that seems necessary, and then trying to get interview things that you can see going on that you're like, oh, the audience is going to want to know about that. And I just took B-roll of them smashing paper towels together, but there was a reason for paper towels to be in the thing, so let's see if I can get someone to talk about the paper towels, that kind of thing. And then you want kind of a closer of some kind if you can find it. Is part of the reason why we started doing loading times monthly for a little while, because our filming became less about one project at a time, and it made loading time harder to edit with something cohesive. So we went for the monthlies for a while, and then we went back to a project-based thing. And
yeah. I mean, loading time is like the epitome of the thing of everybody, us and the audience loves it, but it's like,
it's a lot of extra, like you have to make sure you have extra people there to do
it.
Yeah.
We often are
having people split between too many roles is destructive to the other product that you're trying to make.
Yeah, I mean, we're sometimes shorthanded to do the actual video that we're supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
Let alone having somebody else filming it.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I also learned how to do editing in high school because we had a video program. So I actually knew the basics of editing before then. But between everything I've done in LRR with loading time for filming, editing for a variety of different things, mail times and whatnot, and then management roles and other things, I probably know almost how to do everything in the company outside of the business stuff that I don't want to touch because that's boring.
Yeah, it's good to have sort of cross training, different things.
It really changes how you do things on a shoot if you already know how people have to deal with things to edit.
Yep. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, that's me.
For James.
Uh-huh.
You are the only LRR member who has never been on Dice Friends.
That is...
Is that true?
Probably correct.
Do you play any tabletop RPGs at home or in your personal life? From the Dave with only 3 members.
Wow. They must have signed up for YouTube early. The answer is no. I don't. I played a lot of D&D in high school.
Yeah, I mean
it is arguably how Loading Ready Run started. Honestly.
You were part of the group with Bill, and stuff.
Bill, Morgan, and Graham,
and Jer.
Jer. Yeah. So like that early group of people coming together, that was important. So I played a lot of D&D in high school, like grade 9, 10, 11 were my big D&D years, and then basically stopped. And then I think the only D&D content I have been involved in with Loading Ready Run is Temple of the Lava Bears for the Kickstarter.
Before Dice Friends.
So
technically,
I think before
you
Dice
have
Friends
not on Dice Friends.
Yeah, so I don't think I've been on Dice Friends. And so,
outside of LRR, for a while we were doing the like D&D Next thing with Jer. You had a dwarf Brotor.
Yeah.
The dwarf.
Yeah. That's probably the extent of how much I've played in the last like 20 years.
That didn't last too long though, because they kept changing it was the D&D Next, the thing that became 5th edition.
Yeah.
We were sort of in the thing, and they kept changing the rules and stuff. It got kind of complicated and weird.
Yeah, I've never. Yeah, so like I don't know. It's just never really been a thing I've enjoyed doing. It's like the role playing is fun, but it's not really me, and the rules are always just so much.
It not being you is kind of the point.
Yeah, it's true, but it's just never, especially after high school, just never really got back into it. So that's why you have never seen me, and likely will never see me on Dice Friends. Maybe I could see doing a one-shot at some point, but I probably would never get involved in like a multi-session campaign.
Yeah, chances are just very low for you.
Yeah, it's fine. We got lots of people to play Dice Friends. I'm good. I'll play other things.
Are there any new projects you want to try in the new year, work-wise or personally?
Yes.
From Zen Zephyr.
Yes.
Yes.
All right.
We won't tell you about the work-wise ones because that's just just asking.
We've barely started those conversations ourselves, so let's not get into that. Personally, what do I want to do in the new year?
The All James Dice Friends is going to be a big part of 2023.
Okay, hear me out. I kind of want to try to be a DJ. Not okay. I should rephrase that. I don't want to be a DJ in the sense that I'm looking for work, but I kind of want to just buy like a DJ deck, like a really basic one, and just F around and find out. I can't remember if we're supposed to swear on these things. Yeah.
I mean, you got all those vinyls. You should use them for something.
Well, so then, but there's two different kinds of like I could do. I like that idea, and I have an idea for that.
I mean, the records you have, you don't want to go like...
No. So like
you don't want to scratch them up.
There's two kinds of DJing that I feel like I could do. I could do like the traditional, just very simple vinyl DJ thing where I have two turntables and a bunch of records and a microphone. I just kind of go back and forth, not really mixing them, but just creating like basically playlists, right? So that would be a lot of fun. I would love to do that. I have an idea on how I think it could be kind of fun. But it require a lot of work. But then there's the actual like electronic dance music DJ where I'm just taking files of music and mixing them and like
you're actually
turning
like making new songs.
I mean just sort of mixing them together is generally what people are doing, right? Like you download a bunch of songs, you play one, and then you kind of mash and mix it into another and go back and forth. And I don't know. I think that'd be kind of fun, but who knows?
My brother set something up one time where he had a friend who was a DJ, and did a thing where we watched Tron, like the original Tron movie, with like the sound mostly off, and his DJ friend just like live making like a soundtrack for it.
That's cool.
It was pretty awesome, actually.
That's neat. All right, that's what I was thinking about doing. What about you two?
For 2023?
Yeah, any like personal things that you want to try?
I mean, I was gonna put try to make a sweater on the list again. I've had that on previous year's lists, and it hasn't ever worked. But maybe this year, this year it works out.
You have like a bunch of like sweater arms, like starting sweaters. But
no. I wrote a list, and then I looked at it, and I was like, I got all year.
Yeah.
And then the year finished.
Yeah.
And there's a point where you clearly are not going to have enough time to finish. It's like hitting your homework and you're like, well, I clearly don't have enough time to finish, so I'm just going to bail on that.
There's no point in starting in like November.
Not really, no.
But
I do have a knitting machine I've never pulled out that I kind of want to. Yeah, it's not like a fully automated one. You got to move a arm back and forth a lot. Beach found it at a garage sale for like $5.
Cool.
It's very heavy.
All right. Paul?
Something that I have been sort of trying to get into a little bit more is, talking about Desert Bus, I do the sort of, singing shanties and stuff in Desert Bus. And over the summer, I did a thing where I did a project where there's a shanty group was coming into town for the symphony splash concert thing, and so they put out a call for like local people to back them up, and I did that, and it was a different experience than I expected, but it was quite fun, quite interesting. So, and I've been been on a mailing list for the Victoria Nautical Song Circle.
Okay.
I've been on a mailing list, their mailing list, like where they talk about like when their next meeting is for like 3 years. Obviously the pandemic happened.
Yeah.
They usually meet on like Friday evenings or like Saturday afternoons. Mm-hmm. So it's like almost never works out for like when I can go.
Yeah.
But I don't know. That's something that I'd like to get into more, and sort of make the effort to try to work somehow work it into my schedule. But
All right.
it's always tricky for that kind of stuff.
All right. How do we hold the three of us accountable to do this?
What? Nobody said there'd be accountability.
No. Okay. Everybody.
All right.
Okay. We all throw $100 on the table, figuratively. All right.
What's our literal?
Here's my wallet. It's what I. So we each put $100 in the pot. All right. $100 in the pot, and then next December, we'll schedule it so that we three are here again recording. Okay. And everybody of the three of us who've put in a real effort to do the three things that we've talked about today. So like, it doesn't count if I've just like bought the DJ deck and it's in a box at home. That doesn't count. All right. I have to actually prove that I've done something. Paul's got to do some like singing and stuff like that. And Heather, you just bring the sweater in, right?
Yeah.
Like, you literally wear the sweater.
Just wear the sweater.
You wear the sweater. And if we all do it, we keep $100. But if Paul doesn't sing, Heather and I, and assuming Heather and I do the thing that we're talking about, we're up $50.
Oh, that's how it works? We split
yeah.
people who weren't.
Yeah. So
if you want to keep your $100,
if you want to keep your $100, you have to do the thing.
I'm more curious about. You got a really nice thin wallet. I need to replace my wallet.
This is Belroy. Belroy, please reach out and sponsor me. I have bought so much of your stuff, like literally thousands of dollars. Please, for the love of God.
That's why your wallet is so thin. You're spending it all on new wallets.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, we'll see you all in the year and see how this goes. Poorly for me, probably. I look forward to losing $100.
If we all fail, then we can just...
Yeah, then we all keep our money.
Yeah,
actually, no, if we all fail, Beej gets $300.
I don't know.
No, wait a minute.
I want to point out that because I'm in the same household, that's not really fair, because if I just don't do anything, I'm sabotaging for that.
It's true. Yeah.
All right. What's next? Which is the most enjoyable and personally fulfilling? Hurting the cats that are LRR or being one of those cats?
Being the cats.
The basest soldier asked that question.
Being the cats.
I don't remember the last time I was one of the cats.
Yeah, that's literally why I'm like being the cats is way more fun.
Hurting the cats of Loading Ready Run, I think, could literally be my job title.
Yeah.
I like it. It's a lot of fun, but I don't remember what it's like to be a cat.
I only get to be one when I don't have to be in charge of a lot of stuff. So the Not a Drop to Drink campaign, I get to be a little bit of a gremlin. Mm-hmm. Occasionally some other stuff, but usually somewhere along the line I can't be a cat anymore because I have to do the thing of making sure people get me the stuff to put on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
Man.
It's not as much fun. I have reminders for other people in my own calendar.
I know what all 12 of my closest friends are doing at almost any given point in time.
Yes. I know the stream schedule off by heart most days.
I know our stream schedule and everybody's personal stream schedule off by heart.
Oh, I must be messing with you right now.
My phone alerts me like half an hour before every stream.
Oh God, I don't even do that. That sounds miserable.
not that I necessarily just not that I necessarily like watch every stream, but it's like, okay, there's a stream going on now. Mm-hmm. Good to know.
Yeah,
good to know.
That's fair. All right, that was easy.
Imagine, good thing that regular house cats don't have to communicate. You don't have to communicate with them with Slack messages.
Oh God!
I bet cats would be even worse at
cats
reading.
Would be so bad at Slack.
At reading Slack. Yeah.
I'm so glad Slack lets me send timed messages now.
Time messages are the
because I'll be at it'll be like 2 a.m. like, oh, I need to ask that thing. Okay, I just.
Yep.
Okay. Tomorrow's Tuesday, and this has to go to James after 9 o'clock.
Yeah, it's great. I love it. All right, next question.
What is your favorite way to be warm and cozy in the winter? WMC Duff asked that. That has been increasingly relevant in the past week.
Yeah.
Here in Victoria, we've had some, I wouldn't say unseasonable snow, because this is theoretically what you're supposed to get snow, but it's unusual
Usually,
unusual amount of snow and coldness for Victoria.
It's like usually January though, when we kind of get the dump.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I mean, we got a big blanket at home called Moosey Blanket. Moosey Blanket's pretty dope.
Is there a moose on it?
Yeah, it's just a print and it has mooses on it. So that's Moosey Blanket. So Moosey Blanket's great. Tea is great.
Yep.
My heated blanket in our bed is pretty dope. Those are like the three things that I really like.
Big old mug of tea.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Warm drinks, warm blankets, video games.
Fire would be nice, but I don't have it, so the TV fire, it works. Mm. It's great.
Yeah, if there's a fire in my apartment, that something has gone very wrong.
Terribly wrong.
That's not really a cozy feel at that point.
No.
Fire has that, like, on one end can be cozy, and then on the other end is just frightening.
I
saw on Netflix has the fire
the Yule log
Yule log thing. I saw the other day they have the Witcher Yule log.
What?
Which is just like this brazier in a castle. It's like that doesn't feel very super cozy and nice. I don't know if I would like this idea.
Oh dear. All right.
What is the best day to start decorating for the holidays? From Harold Price. I don't know. Do we have some authority on it? I don't know why
I have an answer which I really like, which is basically just the first weekend of December. Like that's just that's the weekend where where both Ashley and I actually are just like, okay, now we can go, right? Like now we're good. It's always a little awkward when it falls on December. I like it when it falls a few days into December, the 5th or 6th. That feels good. It's always a little awkward if it's the 1st, because it feels like you're all right, December, go, go, go. But yeah, first weekend of December.
That seems reasonable to me.
Like Sunday afternoon, chill out, decorate. That's what we did this year. It was great.
Nice.
All right, well, there we go. We have the authority. Everybody
I'm
agree.
I'm pretty much agreeing with that.
Yeah. I mean, I don't really do a lot of decorating around my own place, but I mean, there is always the weird thing that we talk about with Desert Bus, where we go inside for a week, and then come out, and that's sort of the week where the city gets decorated.
Yep.
And so it's like, oh hey, Christmas came while we were away. That's cool.
Yep.
But yeah, December is a good time.
All right. Easy peasy.
When do you take down?
I think generally the weekend after.
Never.
Yeah, no. The weekend after New Year's. So I think this year New Year's is on the Sunday. I think January 1st is a Sunday. There's no way we'll be doing that. So it'll probably be the following Sunday, which might be pretty close to the 12th day of Christmas, because that's how that works, right? The
I don't know.
I've never been very clear where the 12 days of Christmas actually are.
Because I'm pretty sure it starts on Christmas and then ends 12 days later.
Just know there's a lot of birds.
Yeah.
And
Lords
of Leaping,
early
and
January,
various other things.
Early January.
Yeah.
Seems reasonable. All right.
All right. It's a hypothetical from Hidden for Effect 9984.
Uh-huh.
All right.
Yeah.
You are approached on the street by someone who tells you they are participating in a scavenger hunt, which is something that we have done to other people on several occasions.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've had it happen.
Videos. Yeah. And they need someone else's fingernail clippings to complete their list. Do you help out? I feel like this is too specific a thing to be just a random
So I think they're lying.
If you're
First of all,
if you're making a scavenger hunt thing, don't
put someone else's fingernail clippings.
Bodily pieces of other people on the list.
Definitely not. But I feel like when someone comes up to you and it's like, hey, I need someone else's fingernails, not yours. I just need you to help me to acquire someone else's fingernails. They're lying. They need anybody's fingernails. But they've decided they can't just tell you that.
That's fair. I mean, yeah.
Oh, you think that when they say I need someone else's fingernails, they're not trying to ask you for your
No,
fingernails.
I think they're
saying,
trying to help you do a heist.
They're saying like, help me hold this other person down while I clip their fingernails.
No, you gotta break into someone else's house, right after they've clipped their nails.
Oh, I see.
And steal them out from under their nose, because as Discworld has taught me, you shouldn't give people your body parts because they have control over you. Then
also, don't put your toenail clippings underneath your nose. That's a bad place for them.
That
people
means
will steal them out from under your nose.
The people trying to steal your fingernails might be the dude who was trying to kill Christmas.
See, I read this question and I was like, I love this because the person who created the scavenger hunt is such a stickler for the rules that they will DNA test the fingernails when they get them because it's asking for someone else's.
Right.
When in reality, like if
tell?
somebody gave me a scavenger list and was like, you need somebody else's fingernails, I'd be like, I'm just going to clip my own.
Yeah, but then I'm going to know because yours are short. I'm going to take a picture of your fingernails before.
Oh, there you go.
And when you leave and come back, I'm going to check them.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
I don't need to check
but
DNA
that's still
for
just
that.
a stickler for the rules. I love it. Anyways, if somebody came up to me on the street.
All the people doing the scavenger hunt just exchange fingernails.
Yeah, well, that's where the DNA tests come in, though, because they'll match it to everybody else and their family members. Either way, if somebody came up to me on the street and asked me this question, I would 100% give them my fingernail clippings.
So what you're saying is, in a scavenger hunt, you would cheat. That's what you're saying.
I would, yes. Correct.
I mean,
but if somebody came up to me and asked for this, I would say yes every day.
I
would say yes every day. There's nothing that you can do with my fingernail clippings that I'm going to be freaking out over. And, like, what a tremendously weird thing to have to ask somebody.
Well, that's good to know that you're that trusting. Can I have some of your fingernails for later?
Absolutely. Do you need them to be clipped, or can I just tear?
You can tear if you're comfortable.
Okay, cool. Yeah, let's just.
If the person asking is clearly a wizard, I would be suspicious.
In a glass bottle?
I would be suspicious. But that's how you tell whether they're a wizard, if they're in a glass bottle.
A specific kind of wizard.
Yeah, it's a very specific wizard.
There's the ones in the glass bottle. There's the one who write wizard on their hat with only one Z. And then there's, the other ones that are a little bit less obvious about it, but they're still wearing wizard hats.
You have to ask, and if it's a real wizard, they have to tell you.
Yeah.
Yes, those are the rules.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Well, on that
Merry Christmas.
On that extremely important question.
Yeah.
Happy New Year.
Yeah.
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year and happy midwinter celebration of whatever kind. Happy fingernail time.
Nope, don't say that.
That's not a holiday.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be a holiday.
International Fingernail Day.
I mean, it might be. There's so many weird holidays.
I am declaring December 23rd International Clip Your Fingernail Day.
Wow.
And give them to somebody.
Please don't send us your fingernails in mail time. We will not read those on air.
We won't read their fingernails?
We won't read anything they send us. I'll burn it.
All right. Thanks everybody for joining us. As a reminder, everything we do here at Loading Ready Run is brought to you by you and your support of our Patreon, patreon.com/loadingreadyrun. This the AskLRR show in particular, though, is brought to you by all our wonderful YouTube members. And if you want to ask questions for, say, people who are going to be answering questions in January, then you can become a YouTube member. And Heather will put up a post at some point in January asking for questions. So think of some good questions, ideally not involving fingernails. I don't know.
I mean, we could have just not read that question.
And I'm not going to watch it, so you go nuts. Maybe ask about toenails.
It's a community post, but if you aren't sure where to find that on YouTube, there is a link in below this video that always points to not the post directly, but where you can find the post.
Cool.
So from me, Paul, along with Heather.
Hello.
And James.
Woo!
Thank you all for joining us, and we will talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.